Hey everyone. Today with the Open Hearth, we are continuing our ongoing saga in Silent Falls with Bump in the Dark. This is the second of these three sessions this time around. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. I am running the game. So let's get quick intros from our other players. We are down one man tonight, but we're still going to go. So let's. Oh, wait. The alphabet means now it's up to Ronan first. Well, if that's all right.
No, not the alphabet. I feel betrayed. Um, yes, I'm Elle. My pronouns are she, her. I play Ronan Cross, our Lance, whose family is the kind of traditional protectors of the strange beach, sorry, and kind of waters around Silent Falls. Um, yeah, I think last time we just did downtime, and most of that was Ronan uh expressing his emotions and his various woes through karaoke. But part of it was also having a little chat with his pact mate Gemma about her possibly irresponsible use of occult magics. He's very concerned for her and thinks that maybe it's not healthy for her as a coping mechanism for her parents' death. So yeah, that's where we are with Ronan.
All right, thanks. Hi, I'm Mark. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing Gemma Holwell. And if you've played Alice is Missing, then you recognize that surname from one of the characters. Um, and I am playing the Shield, who feels that she is a protector of of the Pact. She's taken it upon herself to kind of take on that role. And her way of kind of like seeking solace is dealing with occult matters, including some dark witchcraft. Um, and there was a great conversation last week between Ronan and Gemma about that. And I think that maybe Gemma is even feeling a little bit like, why why is Ronan being so protective of everyone when really that's my job? So we'll see how it plays out this week as we get into the hunt.
Okay. So I wonder, are the two of you like on speaking terms since the last time we saw, or like, are you still hanging out and pretending that everything is fine? Mark, what do you think?
My take, and we'll see if Elle agrees, is that there would be some discomfort, I think. Um, and it might they're still on talking terms, but I think that they're not talking necessarily more than they need to. Gemma was well into her cups at the time, so she might be feeling a little bit like she overreacted at the time, and she should have been more um receptive to the criticism or the observation that she was getting from Ronan. Oh, what do you think?
I think, yeah, I think it's definitely Ronan's instinct kind of not to talk about what happened and to try to kind of, you know, let bygones be bygones. But I think how he's feeling is that he really like overstepped his bounds. Like he's like, oh, I was in the wrong. Like, I deserved that reaction, and it's not my job to tell Gemma, what to do with her life. Um, so yeah. Yeah, it's really healthy. It's a great dynamic.
I mean, everything can be healed by a dozen donuts, right? So
Goes a long way.
who's making that grand gesture? That's what I want to know.
It's a really good question.
Half a dozen donuts, maybe, if a dozen is too much of a stretch.
I can't remember if Ronan eats donut or if they've got like a.
He doesn't. Shanna forced him to eat some once.
Oh, that sounds familiar. He's got that kind of very that it sometimes it feels like he's got that kind of like nuts and seeds kind of, sticks and twigs
I think that is the
approach.
vibe. Yeah, he's not like obnoxious about it. Like he's not always talking about his, healthy diet and trying to get other people to eat like him. He's not one of those sort of health nuts. Um, but yeah, he's a clean eater.
That checks out. So I think that um I think maybe this is what happens. I don't think that Gemma brings anything to Ronan, but I think that when they're together, um, she says, she's kind of looking at the ground because it's hard to look Ronan in the eyes at this point. And she says, I when we talked the other night and I threw that glass. I was out of control. I tried to, I was really I was pretty drunk. So
No,
I don't want you to feel like, you can't talk to me about stuff.
no, I mean, it wasn't the time or the place. It's my bad. Sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't going to bring it up because I thought you were probably still upset about it.
I mean, I don't know.
I actually did bring you something, and he sort of rummages into the pocket of his jeans and pulls out like a really smooth, kind of glittering uh, amethyst, like a crystal. And he holds it out. They're supposed to reduce stress.
Do I eat it?
I think that may
I'm
give you
kidding.
different kinds of problems.
She'll put her hand out to take it, and she says, "Thanks. We'll see how it works."
I got plenty more where this comes from. So.
Awesome.
So
So maybe we're at the base at this time, the back of the dripping dagger.
yeah, yeah. I think the kind of touching moment here is interrupted by a siren, police siren, or the sheriff's car whizzes by, heading out towards the beach. I'm not sure how you know that, but you just know that, right?
I think Ronan immediately sort of perks up is putting it too lightly. He's not like it's not like he panics, but he like goes into action mode all of a sudden. And he'll look at you and say, "Did you drive here by any chance?"
Yeah, looks like that ambulance is heading toward your neck of the woods.
Yeah, I
I
need a
mean,
ride.
yeah, let's go.
Um,
Um,
so
there's a
you,
bloody blanket in the back of the car as we get in, and she looks at that. Gemma looks at that, and then looks to see if Ronan notices. And sorry, go ahead, Donna.
no, you go. I was just about to ask, how much goat blood there this place
It's
reeked
all on
of.
the blanket, mostly. The steering wheel maybe has a little bit on it.
I think, yeah, Ronan doesn't comment, but you see his eyes sort of flit toward the rear view mirror, like looking at the blanket in the back seat, and he'll like silently roll down the window to like let out the blood smell.
That makes sense.
And studiously not saying anything judgmental, right?
No, they just made up. He has to bite his tongue, but
Yeah,
he
yeah.
manages.
Uh, okay, so you make your way to the beach. Elle, do you want to like describe, given that this is your home turf, your home um ground, um, if that's not an oxymoron, for the beach. What's the vibe that people get here? I think we remember some kind of very windswept, ragged rocks, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm imagining that there are like kind of bluffs that overhang the beach. I think the resort is maybe on the like highest peak. Um, and then like a little further down, like kind of nestled into the cliff is Ronan's family's house, the Cross House. And then below that, yeah, it's like, jagged rocks that sort of spike up from the sands. There's like always a cold wind sort of blowing through, um, and this beautiful, like usually very serene looking water that has this almost foggy quality to it. Like the water itself is clear, but there's like this strange sort of mist that always seems to be sort of floating somehow above the gentle waves.
Um, and for Gemma, is this somewhere she has been before or has avoided? Because, sometimes you do what your elders tell you.
So I'm trying to remember, is there like a prohibition against going to the beach that I'm trying to recall?
There are signs up, made by made by Ronan, that say, private property, no
Okay.
trespassing. People routinely ignore this.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that she does not go to the she generally does not go to the ocean beach. So this is new territory for her. That's more
Mhm.
interesting.
So I think, out maybe still hidden by the mist, you can see this small stricken trawler, a fishing boat, and it doesn't look too healthy. It looks like it's um, taken a beating. Maybe not here, but maybe a little bit further out. And there is um, there's like some kind of rescue boat, like a lifeboat or something that's gone out to bring in the handful of fishermen who are aboard, and they are being looked after on the strand itself. So that is where your your sheriff, Joe Truss, was heading in her, I guess, classic 90s sheriff, uh, Jeep style vehicle. Um, Yeah. Um, Tell me, Al, in terms of how the fishermen treat the town, do they, is there anywhere for them to dock, or are they really coming into the shore to fish from neighboring towns? What do you think?
Oh, good question. I imagine that there's a small pier that's like not particularly well kept. Um, yeah, but we can say that, someone sufficiently determined could figure out how to dock their boat there. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So what do? You want to head down, or do you want to bide your time and see what's going on?
You said the sheriff is here. Is she down on the beach, or is she like kind of
Yeah,
waiting up near the bluffs?
I think she has like driven down. Maybe it's like a rough track, but the Jeep has made it. Um, so yeah, I think she's helping with these kind of rescue slash medical interventions. Um, yeah,
I think that Gemma is deferring to Ronan, and she looks at Ronan and says, should we go down?"
Yeah, we have to make sure everything's normal. And he'll like kind of take off down uh toward the beach. And I think when he gets down there, I think once he's satisfied that there's no one still in the water, he's like probably annoying the hell out of the the emergency response people. He's
yeah,
like getting in their way. He's like trying to look at the fishermen who were kind of rescued, um, asking a million questions. Yeah.
of course, yeah, yeah. So yeah, um,
When Ronan heads down to the beach, after their brief exchange there up at the top of the beach, we'll call it, and Ronan says that they want to make sure everything is normal. They step out of the camera. The camera stays on Gemma, and she says, "Normal. That'd be a change." As she follows him down.
um, so Elle, what do you think you're angling to do here? Like, study? Like, you're trying to figure out what's going on, or are you trying to, um, convince someone to tell you something that they probably know they shouldn't? What do you think?
Um, well, I think that strategically it'd be more prudent for me to say that I'm trying to get someone to tell me things. But I do think that Ronan, he thinks of himself as the expert on the types of things that might happen to people in these waters, that the sheriff and the paramedics or whoever wouldn't
Mm,
think of.
yeah.
So I think he's like trying to study the fishermen like directly to get a
Yeah.
look at
Okay.
them. Yeah.
Um, I was wondering if you're going to be able to interrogate the ocean itself there. Like all things are possible for shark people, right?
Well, yeah, give me a moment.
Okay, so do you want to make a roll here? I think there's, I don't think there's any danger as such, but I think there's still a bit of risk in that, you're obviously the people here are, you know, tense or upset or whatever. So there's definitely a possibility of a wrong step. So I would be inclined to make it risky by default, of course. Though you can obviously make it safe. You can play it safe or you can make it desperate. So what do you think you're looking for here?
I think I want to make it desperate, building on what we established last time with the Ronan's inner shark sort of looming a little bit closer to the surface.
Mhm.
And he's like in this tense situation. He's just been in a car that was like filled with goat blood not too long ago. These fishermen might be, injured themselves. I think like all of that has the possibility of like, awakening something
Yeah,
at this moment. Yeah.
blood in the water, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, okay. Are you looking to push yourself or maybe get some help from Gemma or what are you thinking dice wise to get you up from your current predicament?
Gemma, would you like to help? Or do you have a thought?
Yeah, I'd love to. Um, I was wondering, should Gemma be more annoying so that Ronan seems like the reasonable one for people to interact with, or take a different tack? Because you're connecting with people, right? To get information. Is that your approach?
I think I'm studying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so let's see. So study is you're like observing what's happening and scrutinizing details. Um,
If you could like distract people to like get them out of the way so that Ronan could, get in there.
Ronan, I got you covered. So I think that Gemma goes down and is she goes into the water like up to her knees and looking around. She's like, "What happened here?" And she's pulling a log out of the water. And she says, "Hey, Joe," to Sheriff Joe.
No.
So yeah,
So mark a luck
we'll
um,
do.
for attracting some people's ire. Um, do you want to deal with the darkness? You looking for another die, L?
Yeah, I would like to give me an option. I would love to hear one.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I wonder if you might hear uh, if someone might mention the family name, the Cross family name, um, in disparaging terms, specifically about like, this beach has been left, you know, idle long enough. We should do something with this beach. So I wonder if that is obviously fictionally, like it's just an idea, but maybe it's an alarm that I will add to the town.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll take it. All right, so it's 2 dice, it's desperate. And let's go. All right, I rolled a 5.
On a 5, in a desperate situation, you do it with increased impact, but there is a worse consequence. Wow, okay. Um, So let me think. Yeah, I think, I mean, so I think someone goes out into the water and like drags Gemma away from it, and like maybe one of the fishermen is like, in his waders, but like he's taken off the straps and they're down, and he's like still kind of coughing up seawater. His name is Ed Brandon. He's a youngish, I mean, maybe late 20s, early 30s. So not young to the most of the group, but youngish in his eyes at least. Um, uh, Native American. He's the skipper of the boat that just went down. Um, and he is, yeah. He looks up at you, Ronan, and says, I don't think I've ever seen a rogue wave like that hit. I've heard of them, but it's came out of nowhere. And, this riptides or no, this cove is usually pretty calm.
Well, what were you doing out there anyway?
Fishing, trying to eke out a living.
Plenty of places to fish. And um, did you did you see anything in the wave or in the water? Anything strange? Something you couldn't explain?
And he like something caught that net and dragged us around, and then the wave hit. I wasn't noticing much after that. Um, we know the waters here. We've been fishing these waters as long as before the mines came here. So don't don't tell us we don't know what's going on out there.
You
But
don't know
this
the
wasn't
waters here, not like I do.
sure. So worse complications. I am going to uh, take a clock, and I am going to give you a clue. And Ed kind of walks away, like maybe he kind of knows that the crosses are special in some way, but he's not admitting that in broad daylight in front of his crew, and he kind of walks away, and um, you maybe you look at his back, maybe you turn out to see, but after a while, this life jacket just ebbs in on a wave, uh, and just sticks against your legs. And this is, I mean, a lot of life jackets look very, very much the same, but this one, I don't know, looks old. Um, like 100 years kind of thing. Uh,
Mm.
should be in a museum uh, at the very least. It shouldn't be on anyone who's trusting their life to the sea.
We do have a nautical museum in town, don't we?
There is a nautical museum, yeah. With an as yet somehow unnamed museum curator. Um, does someone want to give this curator a name?
Uh, in the yet to actually happen the Coing run, we've got a curator, Daniel DeLuca, who's one of the PCs, strangely enough.
Are we
Do you want to go
happy
with
to
that?
cross the streams?
I know it's dangerous.
Let's do it, yeah.
Okay. Uh, he, him, or what do you think?
He, him, probably.
Okay. Um. Okay, and I'm hoping he is, well, not young, not terribly young, but okay, terribly old or somewhere in between. Okay.
Hell?
Oh, am I deciding his age?
Yeah, is he older than the life jacket is the question.
So
Um,
let me read out what I've put way back in session one of this run,
mhm.
of the previous run. Guide of the local maritime museum, sole survivor of the SS Monfalcone shipwreck in 81. Intense, haunted, curses like a sailor are the three tags I gave him. I mean, curses like a sailor seems superfluous. Given that we now know we know he's a sailor, so there you go. Um, okay. Sorry. Mark. Gemma has attracted the ire of Sheriff Truss, and Joe, like, you know, isn't parading you, but just like puts her hand on your back and leads you out of the water and says, Gemma, what's going on? Why are you down here?
Um, me and Ronan just saw you driving by, and we thought, maybe we should offer some help. Uh, you know, um, I
Hmm.
know your deputies aren't always. And she looks around. I don't know if there are deputies there or not, but we like to help when we can.
Yeah, but you got to take care of yourself, Gemma. The Hallwells are important to this town, so I don't want to see you near any dangerous stuff now. Okay?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will stay away from dangerous stuff.
Oh, you brought donuts?
Yeah. Um, Let me get them from the car.
I don't know, some local law enforcement sixth sense, they can smell the sugar.
She brings the donuts back down.
Mhm. Um, yeah. Are you trying to do a bit of digging on yourself, or are you just come back with those donuts and
Yeah, that's a
playing
great
nice and
question.
still being a distraction?
Let's see if she's got something to talk about here. She opens with looks like they're going to need a bigger boat. Then she says, do you have any theories about what's happening here? What It's usually pretty calm in this part of the bay.
Yeah, but just a few days ago there was another wreck, maybe half a mile out. The Coast Guard picked them up, and that boat was a write-off.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but uh, thanks for the donuts, Gemma. And takes the box and hands them off to a deputy who has, like a jackal, smell the sugar as well and come in. And yeah, she kind of again like now that you've handed over the donuts, which was your sole reason to come back onto the beach, she's like seeing you back to the car.
Should have held
Um,
on to the donuts.
yeah, you gave up your leverage, right?
I did, yes.
Um, yeah, well, like I said, like we tell the kids, you want to swim, you want to horse around in the water, the lake is what you're looking for. Unless you're at the
Yeah,
resort, and what kind of local stays at the resort, right?
true.
I
Very
tell you
true.
what, when this town agreed to let that resort set up, it was a black day for Silent Falls.
Yeah, I mean, they're not interested in the people of Silent Falls. They're just out to make their money and off the backs of our labor.
Yep. Oh, and you wait. I'm gonna go fetch Ronan. Like, I'm not gonna pick across off the beach or anything, but
Yeah, good luck.
oh, thanks. I'll need it. You're a
I
hoot,
think
Gemma. Uh, Elle, what is Ronan up to? Are you escaping the attentions of the sheriff by doing something else, or what do you reckon?
Oh no, I was thinking that Ronan is actually kind of scrambling up back up to where the sheriff and Gemma would be. He's got the, tattered life vest in his hands, and um he goes, "Oh, hey Joe, Gemma, I need to go in the water."
Okay. Um, so is Joe like with us there?
I mean, I presume you can, walk away and not give her the chance to overhear that strange revelation, right?
Sure, sure. Um, so you need to get in the water. So I think that Joe says, I'm sorry, Joe. Gemma says, uh, okay, I got another distraction. Um,
No, the problem is I think I might need someone to come with me.
in the water? You mean like me?
Would you?
Yeah, like here?
Yeah. Um, I think I need to have a conversation. It's um it's hard to explain. I need someone there to make sure nothing happens.
Okay. Can we try it like down the beach or something? Or do you need to go in right here? And if so, do we need to go now?
Um, I guess it can wait until it's cleared out.
I mean, because we can do whatever. I can get you in there and then I can follow in if that's what we need to do.
I think I think Ronan, like his body language is clearly like whatever this is that he wants to do like needs to be done now, but
Mhm.
he feels you can see like the conflict on his face where he sort of feels like, again, like not trying to force Gemma into anything or like put her in a weird position. So he's saying like, "Oh no, it can totally wait," but he looks like he's in emergency mode.
Hmm. Is there a way for us to get into the water, Donna? But I mean, if we just ran down and jumped into the water, started swimming.
Um, I mean, sure. I mean, how much heat are you willing to take, right?
Um,
But there's I think there's a beach and a half here, right? There's
okay.
you don't necessarily need to just walk out straight past the whole emergency circus. Um, you can probably sneak down
Okay.
the other edge of the cliff, over by the lighthouse or something, and and go there, right?
Do you want to do that, Al?
Unless, yeah,
Yeah,
Let's do
that
that.
works.
I'm in.
okay. Um, yeah. So yeah, why don't you describe what this looks like? Obviously, you can use your shapeshifter move, but uh, what do we think? Like, let's maybe describe what Gemma and the audience sees uh, in these terms.
Yeah, I think Ronan's like always wearing swim trunks under his clothes, so he just like kind of strips down, um, and uh, I think he'll point out to, maybe there's like a little like rocky outcropping or something that sort of juts, or like kind of emerges from the water, but like a ways away, like it's a long swim. And he'll sort of point out there and look to Gemma. It's like, I'll meet you right there. Okay.
Okay, it's going to take me a little bit, but I'll get there.
And if you feel anything tugging at your leg or ankle, something that feels like a strong current, um, you can turn back. Okay. If I have to do this by myself, I will.
Okay, that sounds terrifying. Let's do it.
So I guess we have a much less practiced strip down of Gemma to whatever she has that's going to double up as uh, swimming clothes, or just like take off the boots and just walk in. I don't know.
I think she would. How would she do? Hmm. I think she would take off her boots. She'd take off her boots and pants, and then she'd go in.
So yeah. Um, so why don't we cut to the chase and see how far in Ronan gets before we kick off something else. Do you want to describe it, Elle?
Yeah, I think as soon as he dives in, we as the audience see um the scars on his neck sort of begin to like bloom open, like revealing the sort of pink flesh underneath. And they become gills. Um, we see the way that I think Renan's he's not transforming completely, but like he's becoming more aerodynamic. somehow. So we see like the kind of effortless way he like glides through the waters. The way he spends, a little longer than most people could ever dream of under the water without taking a breath. And he is like, yeah, it's smooth, it's agile, he looks at home in the water.
Um, so you're casting around for something extra, it's like some kind of sign of what has tangled with this trawler, right? Um, or do you think you're like extending your senses in some other way?
I think I think that as he gets closer to that little like rocky island that he pointed out to Gemma, uh perhaps there's a shift in the water where that sort of mistiness on the surface seems to like sink deeper into the water itself, and it goes from, clear where like Ronan can see perfectly underwater to this sort of like fogginess that like moves alongside him with something that seems like sentience. And I think Ronan is opening up his he's like kind of putting his body on autopilot and opening up his con conscious, there we go, to this thing that he cannot see or even really like speak with in words, but which he has this deep connection to as this like kind of ancient entity under the waves, that he was born to protect or
Connect with?
serve, even,
Yeah,
some people
yeah,
might say, although he wouldn't ever put it in in those terms. Yeah, so he's
okay,
like trying to absorb what it knows of the situation.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think connect sounds where you're going here, right?
Yeah, that seems about right.
Okay. Um, are are you happy to keep this at risky, or are you gonna push again to make it desperate? Or do you think like does your home territory and really this is pretty safe for Ronan?
No, I think it is desperate. I think this entity is ancient and unknowable and unpredictable. And I think for anyone else, it would be like a hopeless situation. Doing this would just get you swallowed up. Um, but yeah, I think it's not without its risks, even for the crosses.
Okay. So you start with two dice. I'm not sure if you're looking for anything extra here. Uh,
I'll go 2 dice, that's fine.
okay. I mean, I guess not at this moment, but Gemma is backing you up. So I think like she can definitely lend aid, um, or is it a break in case of emergency kind of backup?
Would it be helpful? I mean, maybe the water is like a medium for while you're reaching out, you can also connect with Gemma because she's in the water.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay,
Mhm. What
I'll
what's
take a
that? So mark that luck. What does that feel like to Gemma? Like, do you get a sense of what's going on in the water ahead of you? Uh, does this call back a memory as to like why you don't come out to this
Yeah, I
beach
think
very
it's more
often?
frightening actually, in a way, and unintentionally, of course, by Ronan, but I think that it Gemma gets this feeling about the vastness of the ocean and how insignificant she is in it, and the depth of the water even here, and the crushing weight um of the ocean, and the ocean is like the is as uncaring as the void, in terms of how it deals with humans.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I like this
So
also because I think one of the reasons why Ronan needed or felt he needed Gemma to come out here is because um when his brothers drowned, they were doing something similar to what he's doing now. And having Gemma there is like um not like having a lightning rod. That sounds like he's like throwing her under the bus, but it's like having someone else there to connect with sort of helps diffuse this incredible you know, frightening power.
That's excellent. Love it.
okay.
Right, so I have 3 dice, right?
3 dice. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. A 6.
6. There you go. That's exactly what you were looking for. You do it with increased impact. No consequences, I guess. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna think about this one and we'll take a break. Forward. Okay, so I think the deeps receive Ronan, and I think you are kind of rendered sightless by this, the churn or the darkness down here, but you have your, I don't know, your shark radar, right? Your electrostatic sensory organs going off, and whatever this is, it feels like this warm current that could keep you down here forever. And in this moment, that almost doesn't feel so bad. But you get this sense from it, this sense of anger, this sense of invaders coming in a way that they have not previously, come here. Uh, Maybe it's the way that they come here now, recently. Something that is new, but also kind of old. Like this thing has happened before. Um, and maybe that's a memory that you'll have to pick at um, through the family albums or whatever. But you know, people are coming here, and it wants them gone, and it's going to do that in the most basic way that it knows how, just by smashing the timbers, by making it so that they can't invade ever again.
Yeah, I think as Ronan is receiving this wave of emotions and proto thoughts, instinct, I guess. Um, I think he kind of experiences it like inseparably from his own. It's almost like he is like completely one with this entity until he, emerges from the water, like, coughing and sputtering. I think having almost drowned, his, mind coming back to him at the very last moment. And he like kind of pulls himself up on that little rock in the middle of the water.
Yeah, and I think maybe Gemma is there waiting to pull you up. And like the first thing you notice when maybe not the first thing, I don't know how sharky Ronan is, but like something else that you notice when he kind of surges out of the water up onto this rock is, and maybe Ronan isn't even aware of it, is he's holding this rosary bead, this ring of rosary beads in his hand, like this really like made from brass and other things that would never rust at sea. Something definitely of a mariner.
Um, and I so as Gemma is pulling her out, helping pull her out of the water onto the island. Um, she says, "How?" And she sees this rosary in her hand, in his hand. She asks, "How deep did you dive?"
Uh, Brennan looks at you sort of disoriented. And I think for the first time you can see like the very last breaths through the gills in his neck, um, before they kind of settle back down and smooth over. Um, and and he says, I don't know. I never know. Um, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Are you okay?
Yeah. I think I needed that. Um, it gave me this, and he'll, place the rosary in her hand.
Does sorry, does a rosary have a cross on it, or is it just beads?
It'll have a cross on it.
Okay. Um, this is I'm glad you got what you needed. And then she looks back at how far away they are from the beach. And she says, should we rest here for a while before we start back?
Yeah, I think I would like that.
And I think that Gemma sees uh, seizes this opportunity, even though Ronan probably doesn't need it, to kind of like to lean over and put an arm around Ronan and pull him in to kind of like um, hug him and keep him warm. Is that okay with you, Al?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine with me. And I think actually like whether it's just like the exhaustion from, connecting with the entity, or whether he just like really needed Gemma here, and like really appreciates this gesture of support. I think he like you feel him like start silently cry.
Oh,
Like you feel his shoulders like shaking a little bit, like this um sudden wave of emotion.
to Gemma, it feels like it's not the time to talk about it. She just tries to like pull him closer with her arm, and as they sit there on that little rocky island.
Do we want to put there and pick up, dry and warm later on that night?
Yeah,
Yeah, sounds good.
I think that's
Someone's house, the cross house, or do you want to go back to the dripping dagger? What do you think?
Um, do you have a strong preference, Mark?
no. Do you want to go to the cross house? Have we talked about that yet? Has it been described and so on?
I feel like I did have a scene there in our earlier run.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, we can totally cut to us at the cross house.
I can't
And
remember. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Sorry, psychotic cat. So what was it like? Is it kind of an opulent, kind of like or kind of an upper class uh house that the crosses have here? I can't recall.
no, I don't think so. I think it's sort of a stereotypical like beach house situation. I mean, it's
Well,
nice, it's nice enough.
yeah.
Um, but I don't think opulent is the first
I mean,
adjective you'd think of.
yeah, I would seem to recall like weather beaten and not particularly well maintained, but still kind of impressive, right?
Yeah, I think, it's big and you could imagine a time when it was really, really impressive. But now that it's just Ronan living here and maintaining it, things have started kind of falling to the wayside. And he's got his like surfboards and skateboards and, you know, the kitchen's kind of messy. Yeah, he's a guy in his early 20s living
Yeah,
alone.
that checks out. Very cool. Um, so when we cut there to this scene, L, do you want to? I'm sorry, this is not his territory here. L, do you want to kind of
Yeah, mate.
describe?
I'll just play a character.
Do you just want to describe what it's like when we're relaxing there? I mean, what's that scene? Or not relaxing, but when we're gathered there.
Yeah, sure. We are in the sitting room, which has like these large windows that look down over the beach. Ronan's got them open, so like a sort of cool breeze is coming in. Um, Maybe he's made something. I don't think he's great at cooking. He made fried eggs for, for us if Gemma's down. And he's setting a small plate of sunny side up eggs in front of you and apologizing profusely for the mess.
Oh no, that's all cool. I get it, Yeah. I mean, you should see my apartment. It's not in great shape.
Well,
Uh,
and I mean, I'm sure uh, you've been having Shanna over, right? So you probably of a reason to keep it clean.
Yeah, turns out that that actually doesn't to make it any cleaner. And it's yeah, it's kind of a mess right now. I mean, I'm not like talking in metaphor, so don't take me wrong. It's just that the apartment is really messy with the both of us like spending a lot of time there. You know what I mean?
And is that going well?
Yeah. Um, it is. She's she's interesting. There's a lot there's a lot there. There's a lot more than comes to the surface.
Cool. I'm really happy for you too.
Yeah. And
Uh,
so I think Gemma gets a little uncomfortable and she sets down her plate of eggs and reaches down to the coffee table, maybe where the um or to the table where the rosary is, where we've set that out. And I'm sorry, Elle, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
no, 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 please.
That's all I got.
Um, yeah, Ronan considers the rosary with sort of his arms crossed over his chest. He doesn't quite know what to make of it. Um, I think, I mean, I don't really know what the connection is with the rosary, but um, the water is getting agitated. Uh, like those fishermen, it considered them, uh, what is the word it uses? Invaders.
Okay. Um, damn. I wonder if, I mean, have there been fish? Have they done fishing there in the past? I, I don't really pay attention to fishing, I guess.
I don't know. My brothers, my parents, or they were a lot better at keeping tabs and everything that was going on than I am. I mean, I'm at the bar 3, 4 nights a week. I don't see everything.
Yeah. Maybe we should, maybe tomorrow morning we should go to find out like what the history of fishing in that area has been like. Maybe we should go to the Maritime Museum.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great idea. And I don't know, maybe see a priest.
I mean, yeah, maybe they can tell us something about this rosary. That's a great idea.
All right, then we have a plan.
Sounds good. I actually should be getting to the dagger. I promised Shanna I'd meet her there tonight, so I'm gonna head out. Do you want to come?
Uh, no, I think I'll have an early night here.
Probably should too, but okay. Well, I'll pick you up in the morning.
All right, see you then.
See you then.
Okay. Nice scene. Um, I think in the morning when you swing by to go to the Maritime Museum slash priest, Um, there's a bit of a traffic jam. Um, and which is unusual. I don't know what day of the week it is, but maybe not a Friday or Saturday if Ronan wasn't working in the Dripping Dagger last night. So yeah, it's kind of a strange traffic jam to have happen randomly in mid-morning on a Wednesday, right? Um, and yeah, there's some people beeping their horns, giving out. Uh, oh shit, last night was Saturday night.
Oh,
Poor Ronan and Shanna.
oh man.
Um, and yeah, I think you see like I don't know, you stand up at the car and take a look, and there's like some kind of procession of people. It looks to be at like a funereal pace. And there's like, are they like holding up some kind of holy objects or crosses or something? It's a bit bizarre. It's probably not something you've seen before. And I
Uh,
think, oh, go ahead.
no, please go ahead.
I think you see like maybe just opposite you at the St. Vincent de Paul charity shop. Brother Mark is looking, and like he's obviously not part of this procession. And from the look on his face, he does not seem too impressed. Uh, I think he says something under his breath about people beeping their horns, and he like shuts the door and goes back inside.
So I think Gemma says, well, Ronan, this seems like a good time to stop in the St. Vincent de Paul here.
Uh,
I
yeah, it
mean,
doesn't look like this is ending anytime soon.
yeah. So Gemma will park sloppily and do you Ronan, do you know this guy?
The
Did
the
I mean
brother,
brother
the
Mark, yeah.
priest, father.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, is he father? Is he a father, brother, or is he a friar? What are we? I don't know which
You,
one to
you
call.
can you can be all three if you're a Franciscan. You're
She was just trying to be, I
it's a
mean,
broad
I was trying to be
church,
funny.
I guess we'll say.
Um, do have we had any interactions with Brother Mark before?
I mean, do you come in here looking for occult books or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah. Okay, that checks out. Are you good with that,
Uh,
L?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is it like the Pact comes here looking for occult books and knowledge, or is it just Gemma for her extracurricular activities?
I think maybe she has a side thing. Sometimes she stops in and doesn't she doesn't let the rest of the pact know,
Mm.
maybe. Ooh,
yeah, that's fair.
okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean, you get waved in. He hasn't like closed. He's just closed the door, so he's not bothered by the noise.
Right.
And I think what you know is that he kind of also is interested because he always seems to know the book you're looking for, or like a book that might be helpful if you mention the subject, which is a bit odd, right?
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes he might dip into his personal supply of books. His library, we like to call it, uh, to lend something to you. No strings attached.
Supply of books equals library. Could just
Yeah,
write that down real quick.
yeah. I like to get high on my own supply or read, as we call it. Okay.
So I think we walk in, the bell rings, and the door closes behind us. The Gemma says, "Brother Mark, good morning."
Isn't it? Well, bit of tragedy for poor old Ed Brandon. I'm not sure whether the insurance is going to pay for his boat, but yeah, it's a rough day. It's a rough day.
What's all this noise down the street?
Well, I don't like to speak ill of the faithful, and I don't like to curse, so I'm just gonna not say anything.
Hey. Gemma looks at Ronan like, okay, weird.
Oh, is this not like your thing?
My thing? Uh, no, it's been a while since I've been to a Corpus Christi, and it's you know not the time of the year. So yeah. I mean, I should say that would be an ecumenical matter and leave it at that, right? I should be gracious and not speak ill of people who I don't agree with. No, this is not very much not my type of thing.
Ronan looks at Gemma and just mouths ecumenical question mark.
Um,
Sorry. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with Father Ted, but anytime you get a difficult question, you say, well, that would be an ecumenical matter, and that'll get you off the hook. Uh,
Oh, okay. I mean, I say,
sorry, that means it's like bigger than the church that you're a member of. It's like a faith thing. Um, or so not something a local priest would really want to talk about. It's for the higher ups to deal with. It might even be an intrafaith thing if you get into too much trouble, but um, that's above my pay grade. I think it's the church for that's above my pay grade.
Um,
please.
well, the problem we're looking into is also ecumenical.
Okay. Um, what is that? And I think he looks at Gemma like, uh, are we talking about something? I guess the look is like, is this like an occult thing? Doesn't quite seem so sure how to take this. I think if he were into quoting movies as well as Father Ted, he might say, "You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means."
Um, I think maybe show him because this is stuff I really don't understand. So we found this deal, right? Does can we assume Ronan has the rosary?
Yeah. He would have brought it. So he'll like hand it over to Brother Mark.
Okay.
And I mean, I know we can't get clues about the clue, like you can't, dig into it,
Meta
but
clues.
yeah,
Um,
we can't find out anything more about that, but maybe we can get him talking about something that will be
yeah,
useful.
yeah. So he kind of seems like vaguely interested. Takes a look at it. I mean, I think there's still like something of the smell of the sea
Yeah.
to it, right? Huh. Is this an heirloom? Looks, and he kind of examines it. Looks to be kind of old. Uh, Out of fashion, I suppose. Um, they're going up into the mountains, Gemma. There's like, um, there's a shrine to the Holy Mother there, and you know, it's something I think the miners set up back when that was big business. Uh, not quite like I think the odd service was done there in the old days, and people are talking about miracles and uh, you know it's all a bit uh, yeah. Well, what can I say? There's forms and paperwork and investigations to go into if there's any kind of suggested miracle at play. And really, I am. My middle name is Thomas. I'm doubting quite a bit right now.
Wait, they think Ed almost drowning is a miracle?
Well, it's better than him drowning, I suppose.
S- So wait a second. So they're saying that because he survived the trawler going down. I'm sorry, what's the miracle?
Uh, no, sorry. The miracle is the statue. How will we say? Exuding some.
Oh, no, I heard about this. Yeah, yeah. Shanna was telling me about this, right? So, and she's looking at Ronan and she says, remember she was telling us about like it's a statue that cries, right? Is that right? Is that what's going on, Mark?
Well, I mean, some people purport that it's weeping seawater. Yeah, yeah.
She looks at Ronan again.
And when did that start?
Recently, a couple of weeks apparently.
Uh, Gemma, do you know where the shrine is? Should we check it out?
Um, yeah, I do. I know where it is. Yeah, we should head up there.
Are you skeptical or faithful?
Um, I think that Gemma, um, how does she convey this? Gemma kind of blows out her cheeks, like she doesn't want to say, but yeah, I'll say skeptical.
Well, there's only one thing a miraculous statue draws more than the faithful. It's the skeptical.
You said that there has to be like investigations before something is uh labeled a miracle. Um, is there anyone coming to do that? I guess How seriously are you guys taking this?
Well, we take all these things pretty serious. One of my colleagues was here just last week um, about the matter. Um, well, about a couple of matters, but yeah, yeah. We're taking a close look. I think we're keen that it's not used as some kind of divisive talking point. Um, so yeah, it's complicated, I guess. But if you have your own take on the events, I would love to get your views and compare notes. And I mean, I'll be going up there later. I just don't want to go there while the procession is underway because I would like to talk to my parishioners one on one, or at least in smaller groups.
I think Ronan leans into Gemma and says, I mean, we have to go to the museum first anyway, right? Should we invite him to come with us to the shrine?
Totally. Yeah, let's do it. Um, I just got to put some stuff in my trunk. If he's gonna ride with us though. So
Oh, yeah, the goat
that's
blanket.
right. So yeah. Uh yeah. Hey, do you want to invite him?
Aren't you like friends with him?
Yeah, but I don't want to make it weird. Is that
He's
making
been looking at us weirdly ever since I said goat blanket.
um Brother Mark, do you we're gonna so we're gonna go to the Maritime Museum, and then when we can swing back and pick you up, and we could give you a lift up to the shrine if you want to do that.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Okay.
After lunch.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Fantastic. Much appreciated. Nice to meet you, Ronan.
Ronan shakes Brother Mark's hand and like in doing so slips a crystal into the handshake and just like very awkwardly says, peace be with you.
Oh, and also with you. Thank you. Fantastic. Uh, well, yeah, I will touch you later. Okay.
Cool. Um, okay. So the way to the Maritime Museum, Gemma makes sure the back seat is like suitable for someone to sit in. Al, is there anything else we wanted to do before we cut over there?
Uh, Not that I can think of.
Donna, is that cool, hon?
Yeah. So the Maritime Museum, the old curator, one Daniel DeLuca, is there. I don't think there's like an awful lot of foot traffic, so people who come in here get his full attention, or maybe not. Um, but I think he might know you. Maybe this is not your first time in here. What do you think, Ronan? Are you familiar enough with each other?
Yeah, I think the curator and my dad never really got along. Um, and maybe like Ronan doesn't even fully understand why. But the curator knows him mostly as, I don't think I gave Ronan Sad a name. As uh uh Stone's son.
Okay. Yeah.
Stone Cross. What a name.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, he gives you a nod and you know, I don't know if there's a nominal charge for or like a donation box or something like that, which he, elbows not too subtly before you enter properly. Well, what are our remainders looking for today?
Uh well, this is obviously the best maritime museum in town. And so uh because we need information about the ghost, we decided to come here and see our good friend. I don't remember his name.
Daniel
Just
DeLuca.
Daniel, there we go. Um, who better than our good friend Daniel to help us out?
Well, that is best maritime museum in town, huh? Well, that is fucking exactly what I'd expected. Stone Cross's son.
I I know that you and my dad had your thing, but um I I honestly don't even know what the thing was. So if you could just put that behind you. Um, we just have a few questions about I guess history of the beach. If you could help us out, that would be awesome. I have like
Oh,
3 crystals in my pocket that I will give you.
I, I don't need any fucking crystals. Crystals is half the problem with, what's happening, to the youth of today. They think crystals, like quick fixes, don't fix anything. That's what I say. Hard work and something. I don't know, but not crystals.
Brandon's starting to get the sense why his dad didn't like this guy.
Well,
Okay, how much is it for the museum?
well, it's, I think he's about to say like any donation is welcome, but then he looks at you and says $10.
And Gemma says, does that like come with a meal or something?
Yes.
Oh,
Really? What do you
Oh,
have?
old sardines and rum. That's what I'm going to give you.
Oh, that's okay. I'll skip that.
I mean, is it $10 per person?
$10 between the two of you.
Okay.
Maybe you've spent a little bit less on crystals and more on, your local amenities. We wouldn't be cash strapped.
I think at this point Gemma is starting to feel like, wow, this old man needs to back off. So she reaches in her pocket, she like rummages through the few bills that she has. She produces a 10 that's like wadded up, and she makes a show of like straightening it out, and then puts it into the little um charity box. And she says, so we could really use your help. So if you could like be cool for a few minutes, it would be super awesome.
Okay. And he brings you in, and there's like, you know, I think maybe a lot of the museum is dedicated to various shipwrecks down the years. And there's, paraphernalia and bits and pieces from those wrecks in this room. He says, "Yeah, well, this that beach has killed a lot of my friends over the years, or the sea outside the beach, you know. So, well, we'll have to see."
Sorry to hear that. Um, do you do you have anything on shipwrecks from 100 years ago? 150 maybe?
Well, I don't think that far back, but in 92, 1892, there was a wreck, terrible wreck. No survivors. Was bringing family members here of the miners who had just started the previous summer. Yeah, dark days.
Do you have documents or anything about it? Something we could look through?
Yeah, and I think he goes to the end of the room, and there's like a photograph and like maybe a bill, um, uh, and just various um, historical documents framed, um, above a cabinet at waist height. Um, the St. Lawrence, that was her name. A good ship, but when they sent out people to recover the mining equipment, but they never found any bodies. Some of us might say that the Wallaces wouldn't have bothered sending out people to recover the bodies only for all the equipment that they needed for the mountain.
Does the name Wallace in this context ring a bell?
Yeah, I think the Wallaces are like, you know, in your high school history class, if you were paying attention, right? They're the mining magnates who founded the town, right? Even though that's not really true. Um, yeah. So so I think he'll say something maybe you heard, but I've forgotten if you did pay attention in high school history. The old the train station used to be where they lived, but they
Yeah.
didn't live there for long.
Oh,
Uh,
wait.
mm,
Go ahead, Oh.
no, please.
No. No, I insist.
Oh, I was just gonna ask if we could spend some time studying the you know documents and
Yeah. So
things that are on
I
display.
think I think like his sense of like, I don't know, let's say aggression, or just maybe aggression is the wrong word. Surliness is like he's still intense, but he's now talking about people who are interested in something he is interested in. And so he's like happy to lift the cabinet um, door to give you like direct access to some of these documentation, and bits and pieces that were recovered. Maybe some, uh, maybe there's like a plotted history journal for the town that comes out annually or something like this that might have some articles or eyewitness accounts, or something like this. Um, so yeah, I think that might be some kind of a role, some kind of a research role, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
both Ronan and Gemma are are the worst at doing anything study related. It's funny.
They did not pay attention in high school history class, is what I'm guessing,
However,
or in high school.
um, maybe um we could make an argument for hunt, which includes follow the clues. Um, or is that too far off the track, Donna?
Yeah, because you're looking for a clue. You're not like
Following the
tracking a
clues that
clue to the,
exist.
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
if we did it as a, what is it called in this game? Act together.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
That
You
way, if
could,
one of us rolls a miss, we can help each other out a little bit.
that's perfect.
uh,
So
so I
I
guess
don't
the
know
other the other thing that maybe uh you might be able to do is like sway, like instead of rifling through all this stuff yourself, like talk to the guy who knows everything and get him to tell you, right? Um,
Guy sucks though.
he does.
uh,
He does. Yeah, I mean, how much are you willing to sacrifice your personal dignity to do that?
yeah. I,
But yeah, um, so we can each make an action roll, and each action roll can be different, right? In this.
yeah, yeah. If you're working together, so it'd be like someone can try to study and someone can try to sway, right?
I don't know.
Um,
Well, I feel like maybe we should sway. We're gonna get at least one die. What do you think?
Um,
Because I'm gonna have to push, and also I'm gonna have to push just to get a die out of something here.
even if you sway. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I really built her just for the the final showdown. So
Um, what if you punched a clue out of him and no, I'm kidding.
or
I'm just
just
gonna wreck this
wreck the
place.
place. Yeah.
Yes. Tell us what we need to know. Hulk smash.
Um,
And miraculously, the clue you're looking for will be the only thing left at your feet by the end, right?
yeah, I mean, I can talk to him then. And then you can take whatever approach you want. If you want to also be talking to him, that's cool.
Now we think that he's giving us everything he's got, right? He's not hiding anything from us that we're immediately thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. Like, I mean, I think maybe if you roll really well, he'll say, "Oh, maybe I have something in the back that I forgot about,"
Okay.
or whatever. But he's not. I don't think he's holding back. Um, but again, if you screw up the roll, maybe maybe he is. Who knows?
All right.
Um, I was about to say roll to find out, but that seems like a groundbreaking role-playing theory, right?
Oh, you better trademark it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's completely unprecedented. Uh,
So L, you're looking at Sway, correct?
Yeah, and I think what that looks like is Ronan is looking through the documents, but he's, constantly asking questions to this guy because he doesn't like really understand the context of what he's looking at. So like that's where he's, probably mostly getting answers from Daniel himself.
I think that Gemma is in much the same boat, and she is like through gritted teeth trying to kiss his ass and make him think that he's being so helpful. That's my Sway. For which I'll have one die.
Ronan is looking at her like, you really don't have to do all that for this guy.
Do you want to roll first? Oh, do we need so risky?
yeah, I
Steady?
think. I mean, risky standard is where we all always start, right?
Yeah.
I think though. Yeah, I mean, it's a museum. It's 100 years old. I can't think it's going to be like a great effect by default. Like you might find something that sheds some light on it, but it's not a slam dunk or anything like that.
Did Jex reincorporate effect into the new
So
rules?
so what you can do is when you uh affect the consequences, right?
Yeah.
But then if you basically push for desperate, you will basically increase your impact. Um,
Oh, okay.
so
Okay.
it's yeah. So it's
Damn.
uh, so yes and no. It's still kind of tied together in a slightly simplified framework, but yeah.
Interesting. So are you going to try to get into desperate here, L?
Um, I was thinking I would stick with risky for this one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm at risky as well.
Okay. So when you act together, you describe what you do to contribute, and oh, I notice we have blown right past the hour. Do we want to take a break?
Should we do the roll and then take the break, or what do you think, L?
I'm fine with doing the roll first and then.
Let's do the roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you can
Um,
contemplate our demise.
yeah, to demise. That's an extreme. I mean, researching is dangerous, right? So yeah, why don't you make your roll? Do you think you're pushing for extra dice or some any dice at all?
I am, and I just marked my push.
Okay.
I will push my luck as well to bring me up to 2 dice.
Okay, cool. Let's see those rolls.
It's a 5 for me.
Noise.
Wah, wah.
A 1. All right. Well, there's a major consequence.
Okay.
So I can resist that, yeah?
I mean, wait till you see what it is, at least.
No. You're right. You're right. Okay, we should take our break.
Okay. Okay. So, um, remind me, Mark, when you rolled one die that was on study, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
wait, no. I was also choosing Sway because I remember
Okay.
I was through gritted teeth trying to make him feel like he's awesome.
Yeah. But singularly unsuccessful in that.
Yep.
Um, so, um, Al posted the act together text in the chat, helpfully. but not before I find it in the PDF. Um, um, so yeah, I mean, we can describe this and we can see what it's turning into, and then Elle, you can make a judgment on whether you want to spend a luck to get Gemma out of jail, so to speak. I think, yeah, I think it's almost like the same kind of deal as with the sheriff yesterday, except you're not trying to be annoying, but you are. Um, you gotta keep asking questions, and I think after the third one, I think you've touched a nerve. You asked something about, how did the shipwreck go down with all hands? Was everyone incompetent or something like this? And that touches a raw nerve with Daniel, and he turns on you, and like he is almost. I think he's like genuinely emotional, right? Like, and he like sticks a big finger in your face and says, "Listen, girl, you just don't know what it's like out there. The ocean has no respect for what we are, and it will take you and drown you without a moment's thought." And I think he's about to like snap the cabinet door closed and like this is the end. Um, I think before that, maybe Ronan has been, teasing a little bit of details out from him, and um, I think he like tells you about this story that he heard about the uh, the people who uh, were on the ship at the time. And apparently there was like um, a zealot, a mad priest aboard who was making sure that every last one of them was baptized before they could uh, dock and send the boats ashore, or anchor and send the boats ashore with everyone. And apparently it was days out there, forcing everyone to convert, and that's when the storm took them. And um, I mean, that's what they say. Obviously, no one survived, so it's just maybe a tall tale. But there are um, these uh, baptismal certificates, like in a bound book, as part of the uh, like this the strangeness that was recovered after the shipwreck. It seems like a very odd thing to have on a ship normally. So maybe there's some truth to it, but and it's a raft of them, so maybe a couple of dozen. Um, so there'll be names and details and dates and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, you'll be able to work that in somehow, I'm sure. And then I think maybe Gemma makes that misstep, and he is really rankled with her. Does Ronan step in to save them from this confrontation, or what do you think?
So looking at the wording on Act Together, it looks like you can only mark one luck on a 6.
Uh, sorry, it says on, sorry, in my PDF, it says on any hit, you may mark one luck to get someone else out of a bad spot. So on a 4 to 6,
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
it's a
The
critical hit that cancels all misses with no luck cost.
cool. Um, awesome. The text I copied was from the character keeper, so it must be outdated.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
You.
I was reading the
sure.
same thing that L was, so I was like, oh shit.
You're in
Uh,
trouble. But yeah,
yeah, I'll mark a luck, and I think what it looks like is, if Daniel is kind of getting confrontational and getting in Gemma's face, Ronan will just sort of like wedge himself between the two of them and say very seriously to Daniel, like, you're not the only one who has lost people to the ocean. And he'll give a very pointed look because Daniel knows exactly, what happened to Ronan's family.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And I
Um,
mean, in retrospect, Daniel probably also knows, right? He and your father may not have gotten on, but they still knew each other, right? So he knows exactly, well, not exactly, but he knows what happened to them. They were lost at sea. So yeah, I think he deflates and looks a little bit sheepish, still kind of upset, but um, like he nods kind of the understanding to Ronan, but Gemma is still like she's a landlubber as far as he's concerned, and doesn't know any of this pain um, by the sea. So yeah,
I think that what he says though specifically does resonate with Gemma s simply based upon the experience that she had swimming to the island with sorry, with the Ronin. She had that same kind of feeling about the uncaring sea, and um so that actually kind of hits her, and so she's also feeling kind of abashed, I think, at this point, and has backed down. So thank goodness for Ronan to kind of move things forward.
okay. So yeah, I think that gets you out of jail. And I think you keep your access to the cabinet, and there's a few more bits and pieces, but I think based on what he's heard and what he tells you, these baptismal certs seem kind of tied to this, uh, more than anything else.
I think as we're leaving, Ronan will sort of uh, squeeze Gemma on the shoulder reassuringly, just like kind of silently checking in, like, are you cool? Like things got intense for a second.
Yeah, I think Gemma sighs and uh looks at Ronan and nods and mouths, "Thank you."
Maybe we should send Brother Mark over here to pray for this guy later. He has issues.
Seriously. Dick.
Because this town is full of well-adjusted people, right?
None of us have issues. It's just
Oh,
Daniel. He needs to work his
Yeah,
yeah.
shit
yeah.
out.
So yeah, I think if you meet up with Brother Mark after lunch and head up to the shrine, that's probably your next course of action. or at least that was the plan. If you want to
Yeah,
change that up, that is fine, of course.
it's great.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me too.
Yep. So yeah, you're heading up, you know, pretty much as far away from town as you can get and still be uh in the town limits up by the Paloma silver mines. Um, and yeah, near near what used to be some kind of temporary huts, there is the shrine, which, if you spend time in the woods, you would probably been here. Um, for Gemma, I mean, do you think your aunt Dot would have brought you here for some reason, or do you think this is just, teenage gallivanting where you're not supposed to be again?
Um, both make sense, but I think that yeah, I think um bringing Dot bringing Gemma up here um and talking about the power of the place, the power that this place has, even though it serves another kind of entity or power, is still um interesting and something to know about and consider when making just in terms of like knowing everything that we can about last sorry, not Last Bind, Silent Falls. Yes. So Dot, definitely.
Um, do you think you're aiming? Obviously, Brother Mark had said, "Oh, I don't want to go up when it's crowded." Do you think you're getting here when there's like still a few people here, stragglers and so, or do you think you're coming here when it's finally quiet and empty?
In L, I don't know what you think. It feels like it's more interesting if there are still a few stragglers here when we arrive, to me.
Yeah, maybe useful to have some people around we can talk to, some true believers.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a handful. I think maybe, cleaning up if there was a crowd up here, maybe there's some rubbish or whatever left behind. So people are being like good. uh, I mean, this is a national park, right? So, or at least a state park. So it's can't be littering in a state park. And I think the kind of ringleader here is a middle-aged woman. Uh, I I'm not sure if you would know her. I mean, small town and all, but her name is Susan. And it's certainly obvious that she knows Brother Mark. Like I think Brother Mark hides his kind of scowl, but she seems glad to see him. Like he's been invited, but hasn't showed up before. And she, ties up the bag and puts it down next to another few, and comes over and welcomes, welcomes you all, and apologizes that you're just too late to have joined in the prayers and rituals.
Brother Mark, uh, I think that Gemma says under her breath to Brother Mark, "Is this going to be uncomfortable for you?"
He grins and bears it, I think, his approach. And but I think like obviously he's not a bad pastoralist. You know, he can talk to people who he doesn't he thinks might be going in the wrong direction. But I think maybe he knows that Susan is just a bit too far gone. Um, but he, says, "Oh, thank you, Susan. I just wanted to show a few of my friends who were asking questions the statue. Talk a little bit about the history of this place. Their uh, their families have been in this town for years, and they have interesting tales to tell. Um, Maybe I'm just going to wander up the trail here. I just want to check something out myself. But why don't you answer their questions? I'm sure they might be able to add to your wisdom. And at least I'm not going to do a conversation between two NPCs. So off he goes, right? Um, so she thanks him for his time and then kind of turns at you beaming with the prospect of some, I don't know, late conversions or some such.
I think that the first thing that Gemma does is looks to see if Ronan might be digging crystal out of his pocket.
He absolutely is.
Because she does not think that that's going to fly with Susan here. So I think she's like trying to, with her eyes, catch Ronan's attention and indicate, don't give her a crystal. She's she's not gonna understand. Um so but
Ronan
then she
very
just
conspicuously like shoves his hand back into his pocket.
um and then I think that so how far are we, where are we, like within sight of the shrine itself?
Yeah, I think so. It's like set up a little bit off the clearing here
Okay.
in the forest and like, a few meters back and up the hill. So definitely visible. Um so yeah, it's right there.
So Susan, what kind of rituals did you folks do up here?
Oh, I mean, we did a novena and a few rosaries, all that kind of stuff. The usual practices. I don't. You
Gemma's
know.
like, uh-huh. Cool. Has Ronan is I don't know what Ronan's background in this kind of realm is. Does this make any sense to Ronan? Or is this like another ecumenical?
Yeah, I think he's not all that knowledgeable about traditional religion. So he's like sort of trying to follow along, just nodding. And he's like, so is the statue crying right now?
Well, the Blessed Mother doesn't cry on schedule, Ronan. So I think we just have to. I mean, the novena means that we're praying 9 days in a row in honor of the miracles that have taken place here. And so when she chooses, we shall be in her grace.
Oh, we were kind of hoping. Well, um, maybe we can just go over and take in the vibe.
Yeah. Nice.
Um, well, remember that this whole place now is sacrosanct, given the miracle, and I would ask you to treat the vibe with due respect.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do everything ecumenically, don't worry.
Oh my God. Um, is the area that we're talking about, does it butt up against the woods?
I mean, you're surrounded by the woods, right? So
Okay.
there's a clearing, and then obviously when the slope starts to work its way up again, the
So
trees. Yeah,
when
so
she
it's
says this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah, so there's like trees around it also, and a little bit of a clearing, like clear ground right in front of it. But yeah, she's talking about the whole mountain basically.
I'm sorry because I've been really like cutting people off today. I apologize. Um, but when she says that this area is sacrosanct, Gemma rolls her eyes because this is all area that belongs to the coven as far as she's concerned. But she says, so is the statue like doing anything else? Is it like moving or anything?
Not that we have seen, but all we can do is pray for ever greater signs from her.
Did you like see it? Did you see it cry yourself?
I have touched the water, the sea water that she has wept.
Whoa, that's cool. Did you like collect it?
We did indeed. We have a reliquary that um, is in our possession, and we are using it to store her precious tears.
As usual, Gemma looks at Ronan because it's like seawater tears, Ronan. Uh, that'd be interesting to kind of check out what's actually in the reliquary. Um, but she says, so do you have the reliquary here?
Well, not right now. We're just tidying up.
Oh, okay.
I
Do you
mean,
keep it
it's
at the church?
well, I mean, it's really only for the faithful, and it's not a toy to be
Oh,
well toyed with. It's
oh no. I didn't mean to give the wrong impression. I'm sorry. I wouldn't toy with it. I was just curious, like if you're keeping it there.
well, maybe if you kneel and pray with all your heart, she will weep for you because you are a sinner, as we all are, and we need her to intercede on our behalf.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Um, well, let's go see if she's in the mood to intercede.
Okay. So you approach the statue, I guess.
Yeah?
Does
Yeah.
she come with us as we go to
No,
see
she
Brother
kind
Mark
of
there,
just
or is she staying behind?
looks at you with suspicion and, you know, uh yeah, suspicion and more suspicion. I think those are her two. I mean,
Checks
suspicion
out.
and hope that maybe you can be converted, but maybe there's not too much hope on that front. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's a statue. I mean, there's like lots of signs of like there have been a lot of people here recently. You know, the grass or the moss or the undergrowth is trampled. Uh, and yeah, it's just a statue, right? I mean, it's just there. It's doing what statues do.
I
Or is it?
think Ronan does get down on his knees in the damp grass and loudly claps his hands together in a posture of prayer with his eyes squeezed shut. Um, and he's not religious, not in this way anyway, and he doesn't pray like this, but he's going to try to take what this woman, whose name I've already forgotten, I'm so sorry. Um, he's gonna try to
Susan.
take her words
It's
to
Susan.
heart.
Yeah.
Susan, there you go. And yeah, see if his prayer will rouse the Holy
Huh?
Mother's pity or blessing or whatever she's supposed to bestow.
So you're trying to connect with the Blessed Virgin Mary.
Yeah, I think it's like at first his mind is just like buzzing around. He's like, this is so stupid. Like, what am I doing? This is obviously not going to do anything. But then maybe it's like he connects with something in the seawater that supposedly has been leaking from her eyes, or um, I don't know. There's a point where he locks in and he like does kind of fall into a connection with something here.
Mhm. Okay. So I guess it sounds like connect. Um, yeah. Do you think you're pushing, or do you want a deal with the darkness?
I'm always curious about feels of darkness. I'd love to hear one.
Um, a deal with the darkness. Yeah. Um, I wonder if you will be marked in some way by whatever you discover. Maybe marked so that, the faithful will know you as something other.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, so that's 3 dice for me. Yeah, of course. How could I say no to that?
It sounds
Um,
juicy, right? I mean,
yeah.
future consequences. I laugh in the face of future consequences. Give me that extra die right now.
And the possibility of being marked feels like it might push us into desperate territory. So I'll go ahead
I
and
mean, sorry, with a deal with the darkness, you're being marked one way or the other, right?
oh yeah, that's
Uh,
true. So the
yeah,
inevitability of being
yeah, yeah.
marked then. Cool.
So do you think you're going for desperation here?
Yeah.
Because, she doesn't like you or your manner. She probably thinks you're taking the piss, right, when you kneel down.
And it's like the fact that Um, I mean, I don't think Ronan would think of whatever is in the ocean as a god, but I think it's like kind of on that level. So who knows what kind of relationships gods might have to one
Uh-huh.
another.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 dice, desperate. That's a 5.
Okay. Ooh. You do it with increased impact, but there is a worse consequence. So yeah, I think you. like you kneel down and you connect with this, and I think it's not tears, but it's like this groundwater that just starts to just seep out of the ground exactly where you're kneeling. And you feel this, like almost this, it's almost in direct opposition to the anger that you felt in the sea. And this is like exactly what the sea is trying to fight against. This is the invader right here. And you look up and you kind of feel this, I don't know, hot flash or something like go across your face, like down to your gills. And you feel like almost suffocated in this moment. Um, and the water just keeps starting to come out of the ground where you're kneeling, and it's flowing downhill. And I think like everyone else here is seeing this happen also, right? It's just this water gushing out of the ground now. And the kind of last, I don't know, message from this is that, you and all of your kind are unclean, and that you're going to be wiped from the face of this earth, so that only the faithful will be left. Deep.
Um, yeah, I think Ronan suddenly feels sick, like almost seasickness, like his stomach flipping around. Um, and I think pitches forward and like vomits just like seawater. Um, and I think even worse than the like pure physical feeling of this kind of rejection or like attempt at cleansing by this entity, this divine presence, um, is the fact that he like feels unclean, I think, in this moment. Like he believes it.
I think we should cut there, right? Okay. Well, let me stop the recording and we will do our debrief.